In this lecture, we are going to add the template for the search form block. As a reminder, we stored the template in a block for the search template. In the full site editor, navigate to the search template. After you've navigated to this page, search for the HTML block that contains the search form. You should be able to find it above the list of posts. After you have found the block, let's copy the HTML from the block. We're not going to need the HTML comment. Next, open the index.js file for the search form block. Replace the return value with the HTML copied from the block. The next step is to load the CSS for this block. Without the styles, the block's appearance may not come out correctly. In the resource section of this lecture, I provide a link to the CSS code for our block. Copy the CSS to your clipboard. Next, switch back to the editor. We are going to paste this CSS into the main.css file for the search form block. After pasting in the CSS, we can import this file from the index.js file. Back in the index file, add the import statement for the main.css file. The last step is to apply the class to the root element. In our JSX, we are adding a class called WP Block Udemy Plus Search Form. This class will be available via block props. Hard coding the class is valid. However, I think it would be a good idea for WordPress to add it for us with block props. At the top of the file, import the use block props function from the WordPress/block editor package. Next, create a variable inside the edit function called block props. The value for this prop will be the use block props function. Lastly, we can replace the class attribute with block props. Since we're working with an object, this object should have the spread operator. Spreading the block props object is the equivalent of adding the class attribute to the element. However, additional properties and attributes will be added for compatibility with the Gutenberg editor. There's one more modification that I'd like to make. Inside our HTML, there's a div tag surrounding the button element. On this element, we are adding a class with the class attribute. As we've learned, JSX does not like the class attribute. We should replace this attribute with the class name attribute for adding a class to an element. That should do it. Switch over to the browser. I want you to navigate to the Experiments page from the dashboard. Once again, we are using this page to experiment with blocks. This should prevent disruption to other pages or templates. On this page, let's add the search form block. The search form block is almost perfect. Our block looks closer to the original template. We can proceed to add modifications to the block. Let's try adding attributes in the following lecture.